So far this morning we've stopped at what, like 3 breakfast places? Yeah. And they were all just like mobbed. Yeah. Ridiculous. It's Saturday. I hate traveling on Saturdays. Because everybody's going out to breakfast. We're starving. We just hiked out of the backcountry and we can't find anywhere.
But we don't want to settle. We don't want to just get McDonald's or Starbucks or something. We want to like actually get something.
We need like a serious breakfast.
Yeah.
We earned it.
Yeah.
So we're just going to keep driving and hopefully it gets a little bit less crowded. But it's a great drive. This is beautiful going down the, out from the other side of the park, heading south from Grand Lake.
And
really?
Like, it's funny too. Nobody gives us a second look, like wearing all this like hiking crap. Well, that's, everybody's wearing camo or going duck hunt or something. Or
everybody's got hiking boots on.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit.
It's normal attire here.
Yeah.
If it wasn't so cold, I would say that these are our people.
Yeah.
But
I'd stay here.
It's too damn cold.
It was a little over a 2-hour drive to get from the East Inlet Trail Head back into Denver. Probably took a little bit longer than that because we kept trying to stop and find somewhere to eat breakfast. We finally found a ski town that had a place open and we kind of ended up settling for lunch. But as we got closer to Denver, we saw there was a ton of traffic leaving the city. Everyone wanted to get out.
We always like to say that we go for contrast when we're on these trips. And last night we slept on the ground, and then tonight we're going to be sleeping on these comfy DoubleTree hotel beds. We have coffee going already, and Patrick is already in the shower. So we'll see what kind of city things we can figure out to do.
That night we worked on coming back from our calorie deficit by making our first stop to Smash Burger, and then we decided that the next day we were going to spend some time exploring the sites in Denver. The first stop was the Botanical Gardens.
Full? Wow, look how big that leaf is.
What's that?
Look how big that leaf is. It's huge. Papayas? There's a giant fruit right next to you. I think they're papayas.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah? Ah. Toward the science pyramid.
I think it's the Church of Scientology, though.
Oh, stop it. Our weird bird friend.
Pink bird.
It's pretty neat. And the dahlias. These big spiky flowers. It's a solarium, not a planetarium. It's apparently the only one like it on public display. Look at the lotus.
Toward the center of the gardens, there are large outdoor pools with these beautiful water lilies and lotus flowers. Pretty close to that is the outdoor cafe area. So we stopped and got pretty healthy food for lunch and then continued on to the bonsai trees.
This is a 250-year-old tree. It's pretty good. Looks good for its age.
The Denver Botanical Gardens were one of the smaller gardens that we've been to, but they have a pretty good variety, from carnivorous plants to several indoor areas, and they even had the longwood hybrid of water lily, which is famous from Longwood Gardens, which is where we like to go in Pennsylvania. But my favorite part of our trip to the Botanical Gardens was actually upstairs from those water lilies. They had an area where they had electrodes hooked up to a plant, and they were measuring the output from the plant and turning it into music, and it was really quite beautiful. Our next stop during our exploration of Denver sites was the Wings Over the Rockies, or the Air and Space Museum in Denver. And I think Patrick's favorite part about this was the B-52 that's sitting right outside the hangar. It's massive, and you can walk right underneath it, which really gives you a feeling of just how large this airplane is and how wide the wingspan is.
These people, they got a lounge in there? Got all this leg room, giant trays. What kind of airplane is this?
Oh.
They look all comfortable.
Yeah.
Here's our Frontier airplane. All this future technology. Here's the space blanket that I used to keep warm when it was 27 degrees out and we were camping. Thank you, space program. Appreciate that.
We headed from the Air and Space Museum back toward our hotel because we knew that we had to do one of our necessary tasks at the end of every trip, which is the dreaded repack. Of course, we're always kind of bummed because our trip is over and we have to go back home and go back to work. And it's always a little bit of a hassle to take everything that we've been using and try to fit it back into our suitcases so that we can have the right number of checked bags and they can weigh the correct amount of weight. Once we finally got everything packed and put away, we headed over to the diner right across the street because we were still working on coming back from that calorie deficit. And we ended up getting to watch this great sunset for our last little bit of time in Denver. We headed back to the airport and then flew back to Philadelphia. And we started planning our next trip like we usually do on our way home. And we're thinking about going to Puerto Rico for our trip in the spring.